We're going to close with some important calculator functions. These are all going to live on the calc menu of your calculator. Make sure you do this lesson using your TI-84. Most of you said you had yours at the end of the year. A good portion of the AP Calc exam assumes you have a TI-84 and are very good at using it. That's part of the reason that we made you buy it way back in freshman year. So make sure you have that here. You can do this probably also on Desmos pretty easily as well. But starting to practice with the actual calculator you'll use is super important. We're going to get really good at using that calculator throughout the year. You'll figure out at some point this year why it was, came out in the early 2000s or probably the 90s even and still costs $100. It's super useful. All these things live on the calc menu here, so I'll show you what that looks like. So we've seen this before. We were doing second calc value. Here we're going to use the 0 and then the minimum and maximum functions. We're going to use the intersect a little bit later, and then these guys, the dy dx and this little s guy, we'll see later this here. So this menu is super useful to get to. Again, in second calc, and then here are our functions. So we're going to start by typing in this function. Okay. So I've typed it in. I'm going to hit graph. Graph functions I've used before. And notice the whole curve doesn't quite fit on my screen. So I'm going to go zoom. I'm going to hit the zoom button. I'm going to zoom out. And then I'm a little bit closer. What we want to see is we want to see the whole parabola. So notice it says find the roots and the vertex. So the roots are the zeros. The vertex is the highest or lowest point. So we want to make sure we can see all the three of those. So it looks like I need to zoom out just a little bit more. So again, oops, not second. I just hit zoom, zoom out, and then enter. And there we go, right? So now I have my parabola. It looks real skinny in this view because I've zoomed out a little bit. Now, we're going to do the roots first. So the roots are the zeros. So I'm going to do second calc 0. And then it's going to be like left bound and right bound. So here you're telling your calculator where to look, okay? And then all I need to do, and it's a little hard to see, but all I need to do is make sure I'm to the left of the 0 and to the right of the 0 when I do this. So this is the part that the kids get confused on if they get confused. So left bound should be a positive y in this case. I'm going to hit enter. And then right bound, I'm going to move it over here so I'm to the right of the 0. So now my y is negative. Hit enter. And then it's going to be like guess, and you're going to hit enter one more time. And then it tells me my 0 is x equals negative 3. So my first 0 is x equals negative 3, and we'll do it one more time for the second 0. So again, second calc 0, and then left bound has to be between them now, right? So I'm going to center the calculator. You're telling it where to look, and you want it to look for the right hand one now. So enter is good here. And then move to the right of the 0, enter. And it's going to be like guess, and you're going to be like yes, hit enter again. And then my second 0 is 11. So again, this is second calc 0. And then the bounds go on either side of the 0. And now we're going to do the vertex. Okay, so the vertex is going to be the minimum or the maximum. And you have to pick here. And notice here it's going to be a minimum because my parabola is upward open. So I'm going to do second calc. And this time we want a minimum. And then this is the same thing. So I got to tell it where to look because some functions have more than one minimum or maximum. And I just want to be left bound to the left of the minimum, right bound to the right. So left bound can be over here. And then I'm going to move over here to the right of the minimum. And hit enter again. And here, this often happens, is your calculator is like essentially estimating these very, very accurately. So when you get something like this, 3.9999 and so on, it's okay to round it up because this minimum is actually at 4, negative 49. So I'm going to write that as a point. Okay. So here's a case where you have to be like smarter than the calculator. So this is for vertex, second calc, and then min or max. So that's the first calculator skill that is useful. So this is always useful to find the maxes and the mins and the zeros.